I have a rule. One project per hobby. No exceptions. I made that rule for a reason, but I think I'm about to break it. Why do I have this rule? I get overwhelmed, and if I have too many projects, I look at all of them and I don't work on any of them because I don't know where to start. So generally, I've had this rule where I just have one thing going at a time, one sweater, one knitting project, one clothes sewing project, one quilt. And that rule has been working really well for me because when I was a teenager, I would start projects and I would never finish them. And for years, that's kind of been the case for me. And realizing that I was just overwhelmed by the amount of options, the decision fatigue, the where do I start, realizing that those were really the thing that were causing the problem kind of was the reason why I instituted the rule in the first place. But the sweater I'm currently working on, it's acrylic yarn, which in the winter, in the dry months, is great to work with. But every time it gets a little bit humid here, or as I found out when I tried to knit in Florida on a hot, humid day, it gets this weird texture and makes it really unpleasant to work with. Makes my hands sweaty. It kind of gets weird. It doesn't want to move. It doesn't glide. And I hate it, but I just want to knit. And so I'm contemplating breaking my rule and starting another sweater in cotton or wool so that I actually knit this summer and I don't avoid working on the sleeves that are in acrylic in this particular sweater. Now, since the acrylic sweater is the purple, it's acrylic sweater, is my first one, I don't know how cotton or wool feels in times like this, but I know that wool regulates temperature well. Cotton is something that we wear a lot here in the summer, so it feels like those are probably two options that are pretty good. I just have to decide if I want to do the same sweater again in this color, move on to some color work, or go on to the Halloween sweater. I'm avoiding knitting because I don't like the way the yarn feels. And I don't like that I'm avoiding yarn, or I don't like that I'm avoiding knitting just because I have a one project rule. So this might be an instance where I start gauge swatching maybe all of the projects, or at least just the one with the cotton, because I bought cotton, the same size cotton for 3 sweaters. So just gauge swatching those might be a great place to start. And then maybe it's time to break a rule. So here are my options. I make another step-by-step sweater in this fun cranberry red color. I can move on to the daisy sweater, and that is, do I have the colors out? They must be in the box. That is royal blue with white flowers and yellow centers. Super cute. But then I have the Halloween sweater that I could also start on, and that's a lot of color work, and I've never done that, but it's also the wool. I also have a beautiful corn blue flower, some color somewhere in here that would be cute for the end of summer into fall. So if you're interested in seeing one of those come to life, let me know in the comments which one you want to see me do. But I think it's time we do a little rule breaking. And if you really want to know where we are in this sweater project, I made a little bit of progress in the car ride to the lake last weekend and on the way home. I'm still on the first sleeve, unfortunately. The sleeve feels like it's taking a lot longer than the body. I know that's not real, but that's what it feels like to me. But I am on to the cuff, so I am just mere few rows away to binding this off and moving on to the next sleeve. but I had cold air on me the whole time, like cold car air, dry cold car air. So I didn't have a problem knitting. But I can feel right now that I'm not loving the feeling of the acrylic. So that might be the push I need to break my rule. I feel like I'm still convincing myself to break it, you know? The next thing I'm trying to decide or come up with here. Oh my God, there's so much fabric everywhere. Is I really want to get a pattern that's like a classic button-up shirt, but like the collar doesn't have the notches in it. I don't like the notches. I just like a classic, you know, like regular collar button-up shirt that fits me really well, like bust-wise, size-wise, because I've noticed I tend to avoid wearing woven fabrics when I buy clothes because they tend to pull, they tend to not fit quite right. So I buy a lot of knits. As you can tell, I'm wearing bike shorts today, so that's an example. A stretchy sweatshirt, stretchy shirt. But when I was wearing my Lane pants that I hacked into shorts over the last couple of weeks at the lake, I realized that I wasn't having any problems. I was very comfortable. They fit me very well. And so I don't think wovens are the problem. I'm 100% sure that fit is the problem. And I love like wovens. I would love to make this like big purple print, the floral print, into a pair of either shorts or pants, depending on how much fabric I have there. It's 60 inches, so there's quite a bit. And like a button-up shirt or something like that. But I don't have one that fits, and I'm not sure I have a pattern, so here's the deal with the patterns. Let me pull it down here without hurting myself. Well, there's a pattern on top, but it has a Peter Pan collar and it doesn't button up. I have avoided doing buttons prior because I've never done them and they scare me. I know they shouldn't, but that's the reality we're working with. So here's my bucket of patterns. I'm 99% sure I do not have the pattern I'm looking for. But, oh, that's cute. I should make that. Skirt, coat, tunic. I have some cool patterns in here, but none of them, I don't think, are collared shirts. This doesn't have the button down, but it does have a collar. It would need darts. These are like patterns of days past for me, things that I bought for myself in college or something like that. And maybe I'll make them sometime. Some of them are very 2000s, and you know what? That's kind of cool. Here's a button-up coat with the kind of collar that I like, so obviously I'm consistent. And there's a big question on whether I even have the correct sizes, because I used to be a little bit skinnier. Costumes, whatever. Pajama shorts. No, I don't have what I'm looking for. We'll throw these in here. Though, looking at some of these patterns now, there was a tunic that had kind of like a placket on it. That could be really cute to wear as a matching set with shorts that I might pull out. I really want to do a button top, or a button front shirt with the placket and all that. But until I find the right one, I don't really want to like hack a collar or make my own bodice right now. I know I could, I know I'm capable, but it'd be nice to just be able to like adjust the existing patterns, you know what I mean? But this isn't all the patterns I have. Come with me. I also have my mom's vintage stash in here, so let's hop into the secret closet that I never open. So we also have all the patterns that my mom collected and got for free while she was working at Cloth World as a fabric buyer. and over the course of her other sewing jobs while she was working. Now, the stick here is, she was much skinnier than I was. I'm afraid that if I pull from here, that it's just not going to be the right size, and I could learn how to grade a pattern, or I could try to find a pattern that exists today for larger bodies. So I'm going to look in here. Let's look in here. We have children's clothing, toys, and costumes. Top shirts, blouses. That's probably what I'm looking for. Suits, jackets, sportswear coordinates. So that's like suits as well. Pants, shorts, skirts, sportswear coordinates. She had a lot of those. Dresses and maternity. Loungewear, activewear, formal dresses, men's clothing, sleepwear, accessories. So let's do a little, this hasn't come off the shelf since she put them in here. So let's just take a moment. There are patterns, $1.50. There are some cool ones in here though that could be kind of given a modern twist if I, was using modern fabrics. Like, how cool is this? That could be nice for weddings or something like that. My other concern about these, I'm sorry for the crunching paper, is that they might be dated. Because, collars change, those kinds of things. There are no, this would have to have bust darts and I would make it short sleeve. But it's not too far off. But body measurement wise, it goes up to a 16, which is 38-inch bust. I have like a 46-inch bust, so that's an hell no. That's a raglan. She must have made this. It's got fabric stapled to it, which is kind of cool. That's a polo. Not far, but I think my sizing worries might be valid. Okay, there's that side. These are old. There's a rain jacket. Oh, I forgot that sometimes you had to buy one specific size. This is a rain jacket. That could be cool to make at some point. Unless my... Yep, there it is. Bust too large. Now this is what I was talking about. I don't like this kind of cutout or the large collar. I kind of like a small basic collar. Size K, 8, 10, 12. That's not going to fit me. So close though. So freaking close. There's quite a few in here, but they're all size 12. Like, that's not bad. I don't like the bottom on this, but pretty darn close. It's more of a tunic, but I can work with that. That's not it. But she was smaller in the bust than I am as well, so these are all like her size from when patterns didn't come multi-sized like they do now, which is kind of how I've always known patterns to come. So there's nothing really here that I can use. I would have to size up the pattern in the bust a minimum of like 6 to 8 inches. So I just don't think that's the right move for me when there's so many size inclusive patterns available these days. But let me know if you want to see more of these vintage patterns. They're very cool and definitely worth digging through. If you're into vintage patterns, they're very cool and I would love to share them with you if you're interested into that. So decision made. Looking for a blouse pattern online. If you know of one that's just like a button up with a basic collar, no notch, because the notch always comes down a little too far and my bra hits right here. So I like to, hide that. So if you know of any patterns that are like that, let me know, because I'm on the search. So if you have a pattern like that, let me know. Okay, so the last thing on my mind today, decision-wise, we're in decision mode today, is I have this tablecloth. It's 100% cotton. I have mostly gotten the smell out of it from the thrift store. It is, say, probably like 44 inches across, 36. No, 36 plus 20 is 56. So this is essentially as wide, almost as wide as a regular piece of fabric from the fabric store. Now, if I wanted to make pants, I think I would have enough for pants, but nothing else. So the decision I have to make is, do I want to make pants? Because this is not my color. Let me hold it next to my face. As you can tell, this is not my color. But it's close to red. But pinky reds are usually better for me than orangey reds. So this feels like something I don't necessarily need in a matching set, but I could make it a matching set that, like, I have something that goes underneath it that brings the right colors to my face. Not a lot of good colors in this for me, but there's an olive green. I could wear olive green with this. So I'm trying to decide, do I make a pair of Lane pants, like the full length ones? Do I make a pair of Lane shorts like I did with the chambray? And maybe make a fun, like, top or outer layer that goes with this, like a vest or something like that. Is that too much? Probably not. I mean, it could be, but you know, whatever. I know I want more shorts. So maybe this is just we make more shorts. We figure out what we want to do with the rest sometime in the fall. Because I could get like an olive colored like lining and make like a quilted jacket maybe. Because the shorts don't take that much. They take like 2 yards. A jacket takes a lot. So I'd at least lay out something that has like about that much fabric in it. But this is pretty wide and it's pretty heavy. And I could line it with an olive crepe back satin or a flannel back satin and make it like really comfortable to wear. And really warm for the winter or for the fall. So maybe it becomes 2 pieces. I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know. I am simultaneously in decision mode and I don't know because I don't have to decide yet mode. Because I'm really feeling some quilting next. So maybe we're not even into apparel yet. I'm covered in thread and I didn't even sew. That's okay. I feel like this is half of what being somebody who sews and knits and does a million hobbies is like. It's like 75% working on the projects and 25% toiling over what's next because there's so many great options that I could make. And there's so little time and so many good ideas. And I just want to make all the fun, cute things for the seasons. So maybe I leave this for fall when I'm excited to sew for fall and let myself be inspired by the seasons. And maybe I go get some fun fabric to sew more shorts out of. I could go to the thrift store again. I could also color block some shorts and a top. I don't know. The options are endless. I won't bore you with all my dream project details. I'll just let you know what I'm sewing when I start. That is all I have for you today. Let me know what you're working on. Maybe it'll inspire me to figure out what I'm working on next. And maybe it's just time to break my 1 project per hobby rule. Maybe I'll decide, maybe I'll just sew instead because I have 0 projects there. And and I'll see you next week. Bye.